Hello, dear friends. It's Carly, and welcome back to my channel. It's so good to have you here, and I'm especially excited to share this video with you. I am such a huge fan of yearly mantras in my own personal self-care and spiritual practice. So I am very excited to share that process with you, as well as the mantra that I have chosen for this upcoming year of 2022. So if you're into it, stick around. I would love it if you gave this video a like. I'd also love to hear from you in the comments. So first, I wanted to share how I personally work with a daily mantra. I'm sure there are lots of awesome ways out there, and in this little corner of the internet, I'll tell you about my way. So even though I do set the mantra for the year, I do work with it, or I try to, every single day. And when I say work with it, that kind of already starts to set us up for maybe a misunderstanding that it is work. And when I say work with it, I more use it as a touchstone in my daily journaling practice, which I do have, that exists kind of bigger than just a yearly mantra. There are lots of different things and practices that I do in my journal. And so every morning as I work with my journal and flowing that energy in that deliberate way, the very first thing that I put at the top of the page is, for example, this year was 2021, the year of speaking truth. And that mantra was something that a year ago felt like the next step of my evolutionary path. I needed to lean into the limitations of my own comfort zone around standing up for myself and speaking my truth and confronting things more directly with not necessarily being confrontational, but more clearly knowing who I am so that I can just embody that. And then it's not even really a matter of confronting other things because I'm sovereign and I can be whoever I want to be. That's the me talking after 12 months of working with this mantra of speaking truth. I've realized it is so much more about embodying your truth than ever saying anything out loud to anybody else. And that's the beauty of these mantras, is that, you think you're signing up for something, and the actual path that unfolds, it's a wild ride, my friends. Like, you never saw it coming. The things that get brought up and brought to the surface that need to be released. If you want to do that thing, then you can't do the other thing that holds you back. So it is absolutely a process of healing to touch base onto this mantra every day. So these last few years using it, it's like, really, that's all the effort that I put into it. Is I make a point to, at the top of my page, write one time, 2021, the year of speaking truth. And from there, it's not so much a matter of ever consciously going back to it in any kind of real way, but it is interesting how, because I'm touching there every single morning, it's like now when I face situations where I am normally backing down, I feel this energy, this momentum that I've been adding to, just like one more little bit every single morning, adding to this momentum of, this is important to me. It matters to me. And so from there, it's like, as you weigh out your options, as you decide how to be and how to show up in your life and what to say and when to say it and what tone of voice to use and how to frame your story, like all of that are choices. We make millions of choices every day. So the clearer we are inside of who we are and what's important to us, our truth just naturally has no choice but to be what unfolds. So this year has been especially wonderful, and the first time I've ever actually tried to work with a more specific mantra. The ones that I used in my early years were very general, just so that I could get into the momentum of doing this, the rhythm of doing this. And I'll share those as well in case any of those feel more right for where you are right now. The ones that I started with, I had a journal. Like I said, I journal every day, so I go through quite a few journals a year. So, I switch journals every couple months, and I happened to start a new journal, I think the day before the new year, going into 2018. And the front of the journal cover, it was so pretty, and it said, best year ever. And so every single day, starting that first day that I used it, I was like, yeah, best year ever. Oh, here we go. New year, 2018. I'm looking forward to this. And so every day on 2018, I wrote 2018, best year ever. And it was so much expansion, so much awesome things. And again, that's really all I did was just write it at the top of the page, and that touchstone back to it every morning. It adds just 2 more cents worth of momentum to it every day. And by the end of the year, you got some real juice flow in there. And I enjoyed it so much. I carried it forward into 2019. I did 2019 best year ever. And again, it was very expansive and so many good things flowed. And from there, 2020 was most magical year. And again, I think it was. We can debate that some other time, or feel free to debate it in the comments. Was 2020 magical? Have you changed for the better since the pandemic started? Just food for thought. And 2021, like I said, where I was at that time was very much ready for my own abilities to speak my truth, to grow and evolve. I was tired of backing down. I was tired of staying silent when I knew and I felt conviction to say something, and I'm still walking on eggshells. And I was like, 2021, the year of speaking my truth. I'm going to say the thing. And like I said, as you work with these mantras, they start off as a path of like, yeah, I'm going to say the thing. And then you realize like saying the thing has very little to do with it. Embodying your truth, knowing it well enough to be able to embody it on a daily basis. That's really all you ever need to do. So I feel like this more specific mantra of the year of speaking truth has really just it has been this skeleton structure for this massive amount of growth that I have undertaken spiritually, mentally, emotionally this year. And so going into 2022, I've been thinking for like 6 months, because like this one has been so powerful. I'm like, I want something that is like the next level, like so powerful. And so I've had lots of ideas these last 6 months of like what feels right. 2022 numerology wise is a universal 6 year, meaning if you add up 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 0, it equals 6. So it's a numerology 6 year, and that is representative of unconditional love. So that has very much been kind of where my mind was hanging out at originally, was something to the effect of the year of embodying unconditional love, because basically what else is the point of life anyway? I'm a life path 6, so 6 is my jam all the time. But yeah, the whole world is going to go through a 6 year this year, where unconditional love will raise in its profile and in its importance and in its prevalence in this world. And so that's really exciting. So from all of that, I reach my 2022 yearly mantra, which will be, I'm recording this like a week left to go in 2021. So I'm still squeezing the last ounces of good out of the year of speaking truth, let me tell you. But when we roll into 2022, it will be the year of inner abundance. And the rest of this video is going to unpack, what does that mean? Again, if you like videos like this, please consider subscribing to my channel and coming back to hang out with me in another video. The rest of this video, we're going to talk about what is inner abundance and why have I seen fit to devote my entire year to let this inner abundance be the skeleton upon which all of my growth is centered. To touch back to this idea of inner abundance every morning and keep it at the top of my mind, so that as I go through my life, I'm weighing things out in terms of what's really important to me. And as we'll talk through some of the videos that I have planned that are coming out soon on the channel, this is very much a season of getting really acquainted with what actually matters to us. So these next few months are, I'll put the video on the screen here. Highly recommend these couple videos if you haven't watched them already: Upgrading Our Self-Worth and the Venus Retrograde video, where, yeah, this is a big time of upgrading what we believe we deserve. And when you believe you deserve something, it happens. in your world. That is your life. What you believe you deserve, that is your life. So when we talk about inner abundance, we're going to break it down into a few different pieces. The first thing is an idea from Abraham Hicks, which personally for me it landed in my consciousness like a ton of bricks and demanded that I rework lots of my belief structure. But this idea is everything that anybody wants is so that they will feel better. So our ego says lots of things about, I want this and I don't want that, and I like this and I don't like that. Our ego has tons of opinions. But at the end of the day, the only thing that you ever want is to make yourself feel better. You think you want money, you want a certain car, you want to take a trip, you want to live a life where you don't have to work. All of these things, you want those things because you think in this picture in your mind, that person feels the way I want to feel right now. When you say, I don't want to work, what you're really vocalizing is right now I feel burdened. I feel like I'm in bondage, like I can't be as free as I want to be. And when I'm retired or I win the lottery or I have all this freedom, then I won't be burdened and I won't have this weight on me like I have to go to work, and then I'll be free and I'll feel so much better. And the truth is, we feel how we feel and our life manifests around that. So if you don't feel free, a change in your employment status will have no impact on how free you actually feel. If you don't feel free and then you give up your job so that you can feel free, you will feel the burden of not enough money. And you will feel not free because now you don't have enough money coming in to support the money that you want to spend. So there are so many ways that we can feel burdened and not free and limited in so many ways. And so we think that we want the physical conditions to adjust and to change. We want to not have a job. We want to win a big pile of money. We want a relationship. We want out of a relationship. We want the condition to change. And we think that when the condition changes, then the feeling will change. And it's the opposite of that. So that is basically a big foundation where we are going to build the rest of this conversation. So using that as our foundation, the second thing is that abundance is really only ever inner abundance anyway. And go with me here because, again, on this foundation of the only thing that we ever want is to help ourselves feel better, then really what are we talking about here? Like what you're wanting is ultimately to create an emotional effect. And if what you want is to feel better, our emotions can be guided by us with our minds. With a little bit of practice, you can guide yourself into feeling better. And that is a skill that doesn't cost a penny. It has nothing to do with money or physical value or any kind of conditions that need to change on the outside. So all abundance is internal abundance anyway, meaning even if you win a big pile of money, that may or may not long-term impact how you feel on the inside. You can go someplace different, but you'll be taking yourself with you. So if you don't get down to the root cause of really what's going on, the real reason that you don't feel free, you can't leave a job and expect that freedom will be waiting there for you because you're taking yourself with you. So changing the external circumstances is really just a distraction. It's the illusion of the physical plane. Of course, it's fun to play in physical manifestation, but it has such a short-term effect on our emotions and the set point of how we feel about ourselves and our lives. To move that set point takes consistent chipping away at it and moving the needle another millimeter every single day. That kind of consistent effort over a lifetime makes such significant progress. But again, this is all internal work. This is all like stepping inward and asking ourselves those kinds of hard questions and then listening to the answers. You know, it's easy to blame your employer for why you don't feel free. it's a lot harder to face up to the fact that that's a dynamic that is going on inside of you. That's a dynamic that belongs to you. And so the employer has nothing to do with it. Really, they're just the mirror that is helping you to see that this is the energy you're carrying. So going into this year, 2022, the year of inner abundance, every time we feel limited, realizing that really everything that we want is just to feel better. So what is it? What is it that's really limiting to us? Where is the negative emotion coming from? And with this, we're reaching for unconditional abundance. And when we say we, I mostly mean me, and you, if you want to, tell me in the comments, like, are you going to pick a yearly mantra? Do any of these ring your bells that you can go with? Does it help you think of a different one? I'm going with the year of inner abundance and reaching for unconditional abundance, meaning if I feel lack of anything, realizing that this is a mirror for the energy and that I know how to do energy work. I know how to flow emotional energy. So if I feel lack, then the answer is to shift emotional energy into a more abundant perspective. So this is exciting. This is exciting because going back to what I said, that the life that we believe we deserve, it's everything. It's the entire life that's manifesting around you. So not that you should do this work because you want an abundant external life, because like we've been talking about this whole time, that doesn't change anything. Nothing. A big pile of money like maybe gives you like this much more security. But really, if you're like a truly insecure person, the money will be gone in no time and you'll be right back to where you were because you haven't fixed the root cause. So it is such an internal process, and this year for me is about stepping into unconditional love, which in my book is basically unconditional abundance. That if you can find unconditional love, then you can tap into what truly matters in any situation. You think about the things that you allow to move you into negative emotion, and you start to realize that there are so many things on that list that maybe they're true, maybe they shouldn't have happened the way they happened, maybe they're not fair, maybe they're all kinds of wrong on so many levels. But we as individuals still get to ask ourselves, is it worth it? Is it worth the negative emotion that I'm paying to have this experience? And unconditional love kind of smooths out most of the things that we're getting mad about in the first place. So unconditional love, unconditional abundance in my book are very much intertwined. I share my spiritual experiences not to be an instruction booklet for everybody else as far as like how you should be doing it. But I do believe that, in order to find our most authentic self takes soaking up lots of different ideas from the world and exploring lots of different ideas in our own minds and feeling for ourselves what resonates. So as far as like, does this work for you, or is it going to be beneficial? Is, writing this down once a day, every day, like, is it going to work for you? I don't know, because it'll depend on the rest of your process, the rest of like where you're starting from and where you're aiming to get. If you're wanting inner abundance because you want to feel free and good and content and your own well-being, then I genuinely believe working with a mantra like the year of inner abundance, that by the end of 2022, we will have a new understanding of what it means to be secure, what it means to feel our own divine, secure abundance that's ours, that belongs to us simply because we are an individual soul. We're an individual extension of source energy expressing itself in human form, and no one can take that away from us. So inner abundance, abundance of connection of our soul back to the higher self that we are, inner abundance. So this year of inner abundance, I do hope that you find it to be both an experience of clearing and letting go of the things that no longer serve you, and an influx of new wonderful things to appreciate that take the place of all of the things that you've released. Thank you so much for listening. I do have several new videos coming out soon, so please subscribe to the channel, give this video a like if you want to, and yeah, I will see you on the next one.